Awesome. Welcome everyone to the Vibe Coding Challenge. We're going to be learning a lot over the next 2 days. And while we just kind of let people mosey on in here for about 2 minutes, I want to introduce my collaborator here. So we have Lee Yin as the collaborator on this project. Lee Yin is the founder of AdaL CLI. That is the vibe coding tool that we will be using for this hackathon. I'm really excited for you guys. I can already feel the energy in the crowd. It's going to be really amazing. I do have a couple slides that I want to share with you guys, but we're going to give people like about 1 more minute to come on in. So if you guys can drop where you're signing in from, I see 500 people in here right now. So if you can drop where you're coming in from, that'd be great. So we have David from LA, right? David from LA, and Lian Chang is saying thank you guys for putting this together. Yeah, I mean this has been this has been great. This has been one of the. I'm really excited to see what kind of collaboration models that we can do here. So at the 2-minute mark, we will be starting the slides. So we got Drewski from Seattle. We have Rishi from Texas, Egypt, Nigeria. Oh, let's just put this in on the side here for a second. Sorry, Lee, it's kind of going over your face for a second, but you see all of these freaking. We have this is going to be a completely worldwide live stream today. This is going to be really great. Right. I'm excited. Are you excited, Lee? How do you feel?
Yeah, super excited. But
Super excited.
There's so many people here.
So many people. Okay, so let me go into the slides here for just a second. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, awesome. It looks exactly how I want it to. Okay, so welcome everyone to the Vibe Coding Challenge. This is your chance to get free admission into my bootcamp, as well as a year of AdaL CLI Pro, which are amazing values if you pay with your effort, because that's how life works, right? You either pay with your effort or you pay with your money. And so let's go into this as we kind of step through this vibe coding challenge that we're going to be doing over the next 48 hours. So what are we talking about today? So I'm going to be kicking it off for about the next 20 minutes. And then after that, I will be passing it off to Lee, where Lee will be sharing her very deep AI expertise around vibe coding. So what we're doing here, we're going to be covering what we're going to be covering over the next 2 days: why AdaL CLI, how to submit your SaaS project, and then what are the rewards. So let's step into it. So the curricula is pretty straightforward here. Part of this is going to be how to set up your coding agents, how to actually set up AdaL. Setting up AdaL is going to feel very similar to setting up Claude Code or a lot of the other coding agents. We're also going to talk about how to give your agents special skills, because this challenge is not just around building something. It's learning how to build better and learning how to build more effectively. And that's where things like skills.md are going to be really amazing. And that's something that Lee knows significantly better than I do, and I'm excited for her to teach that. As well as at the end of day 1, you should have an amazing landing page that is ready for to show off and take a screenshot of, because we will need a screenshot of your landing page in order to get a grade from your SaaS project. And then I will be taking up day 2. Day 2 will be starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. same time tomorrow. And what we do is we're going to get the project into production. And this is where we're going to go from landing page to project that actually works. For me, I'm going to be working with wiring up Codebase and billing and things like that, as well as kind of building a full-fledged Substack. It's going to be really awesome. At the end of tomorrow, you're going to be wow, software engineering is so different. It's so different now. The ability that what we can do here. If anything, the number one thing that we're trying to show you guys with this challenge is that you can do anything you want. Like, like literally nowadays, like the only thing that is keeping you away from building your dreams is the choice to do it. And if you can realize that that is the world that we live in, that should remove the fear about AI and replace it with excitement. So let's get into this. So why AdaL? So Lee Yin has been working on AdaL for the last couple of years, and AdaL is kind of better than Claude Code in a couple ways. The most obvious way that AdaL is better than Claude Code is that you can easily flip between the models. Claude Code is very married to Opus and Sonnet and Haiku, whereas AdaL can do those models as well as Gemini, as well as ChatGPT models and Codex models. It can do like all of them, right? And that's a really, really powerful thing, because Claude is not the best model at everything. And that's something we're going to talk about, is like, how do you leverage these different intelligences so that you get the best of all of them? And that's one of the unique selling points that AdaL CLI has that you don't get with Claude Code. As well as AdaL is better than Cursor. I know Cursor can switch between models, but like IDEs are dead. IDEs are dead. Like, we need to be building and creating in the CLI. And that is where AdaL CLI is just a dramatically better UX than Cursor is, like by a mile. And so, because I don't like VS Code. I don't like it. And just a final selling point here is AdaL is the future of coding agents. It is the future. And I can see Lee's vision for AdaL, and I can see how like we are still so early here, and it's going to be so amazing of like what we can already use it for. Like, I already use it for all of my coding of the Data Expert platform. I don't even code anymore. Like, it's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. It's like AdaL does all my coding now. It's freaking really, really cool. So you're going to be submitting your SaaS project. So you actually do get a little bit more time because of the fact that we're teaching over the next 2 days. We're actually giving you an additional 2 days to work on this project. So you will have until 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday to submit your project, right? And so your project will be a zip. It should be a zip of your landing page screenshot, your Next.js code, as well as a markdown file explaining the problem and who you are. So like, that is what you need to bring to the table if you are going to be doing your SaaS projects, right? So and you will get a preliminary grade from AI, but if you get an A from AI, that does not mean that you will get first place. That's not what it means. But if you don't get an A from AI, that means that we're not going to look at your project. We're just going to not look at it. Like, AI, you have to, the AI grader has to bubble up your project, because there's going to be thousands of projects. Over 2,000 people signed up for this challenge, right? So Lee and I are not going to look at 2,000 projects, because if you think about that, like, if we spent 1 minute on each project, we would be here for like weeks. Right? We'd be here for a very, very long time, and it's like not worth it. And so like we will use AI to filter up the best projects. So it's like, and remember, you can submit to the AI as many times as you want. You can get as many grades as you want, so that you can know that your project is ready to go. That is going to be, and you'll get feedback on your project as well. AI will give you feedback of what's not working, why it's not good. All of that will happen as well. So that's essentially how that works. We will go over that with a demo here in just a second. So I just want to go over the rewards. So the rewards here are going to be, if you get first and second place, they get entry into my AI bootcamp in March. That is a $3,000 value, as well as you get a 1 year of AdaL CLI Pro, which is a $240 value. That is going to be really, really amazing. And then also for third place and the most creative, those two as well, they will also get a shout out from me and Lee on LinkedIn. Together, we have like 600,000 followers on LinkedIn. So that's a like it's almost like a city of people who will see your project, even if you get third place. We will also shout out first and second place as well. So just letting you know that like we will be kind of giving everyone those things. So what I want to show real quick is how do you submit your project so that like that's just painfully clear for people. So okay, so say you go to the data expert portal, right? And you're going to hit dashboard here, right? Then you click on the vibe coding challenge, and then you'll see down here there's capstone submission, and then you see this submit your SaaS project. So in here, this is going to give you all of like the details of like how this works and like what you need to be doing. So remember, the main things here are your landing page screenshot, your Next.js routes, and a submission form of what you're looking to do. And then what that does is then you will be able to submit a zip file. So I'm going to just submit kind of like a random zip file to kind of show you how this works. So here is my zip file, and then I'm going to hit submit assignment. And then you'll see here it says like, Zach Wilson is providing you feedback. So then it will look at this submission. Feedback from AI generally takes about 2 to 3 minutes. So you will be able to get your feedback in a reasonable period of time. And then after your feedback comes back, you'll get a grade. I'm probably going to fail here because I just submitted a random JPEG. I didn't actually submit like the required stuff. But just remember, everything needs to be in a zip. Yeah, there we go. Then here's the instructor's feedback that you can kind of see, and you can kind of what I can't grade yet. It's giving you all the feedback, and I'm pretty sure from this perspective I failed, right? I think if you refresh the page, it will show you your submissions, but that it gives you the feedback on like what you need, what kind of routes you need, and what is going to be in the project. So that's essentially what is there, right? Can you submit and resubmit until you get an A grade? Yes, that's exactly what the offer is, right? That's exactly what the offer is. That's what I would hope that's what you do, right? You'll see. Oh yeah, here's my submission history. I got a nice solid 0%. And then you can like go back through and you can see like what you need to actually submit to get a good grade. So definitely I deserved an automatic fail because I submitted random bullshit. So that's going to be the big thing to be thinking about as we go through this. Let me go back to Canva. Anyways, I want to open up for any questions that people might have. Obviously, I know that there's going to be people in here who missed some of this session, but someone's saying, can anyone share the link? So if you want to join the challenge, you need to go to learn.dataexpert.io. That's where you need to join the challenge. And you are going to need to make an account at sylph.ai. Sylph.ai, sylph.ai. Those are going to be the two places that you're going to need to sign. So you sign up on learn.dataexpert.io. That's where you can submit the project. And then that'll be it. So how will the winner be decided? So the winner is going to be decided based on the the winner is going to be decided based on what I'm trying to say here, on like the completeness and the excitement of the project and like the business value. Lee, do you have any other inputs on like how the winner will be decided?
I think it comes with two projects. One is the landing page, so it has to look amazing. It doesn't matter if you're a designer or not a designer.
Yeah.
And then for the project of the newsletter and the AI native Substack, the product we're trying to sell, you want your database and the functionality that actually works. I'm not sure if AI can grade that, but maybe you just look at the code quality that matters too.
Yep, I love that. So we have then what we have here is once you sign up for the course, you will get a link to Sylph. Yeah, like someone's asking about how to get credits for this challenge. So like if you signed up before like midnight yesterday, then you should have gotten another email, right? Was it an email with the links, right? Or I'm pretty sure that's what it is, right?
Yeah, I think all the people that signed up from last night, like before the last night, right, would actually, we created an account for you just because we have to grant you the credits of $5.
Yeah.
For people who joined today, if you sign up yourself, you will get like $1 credit. You can still use some queries. It can last a while if you use Minimax M2.5.
Yeah.
And then after the class, if you send us the email, I think we are gonna give you the $5 credits too.
Yeah, someone's saying they're getting an application error on Data Expert. So yeah, Data Expert is actually down right now because there's just too much load on the server. Like we have like kind of a stampede of people. I need to look at that. I will go and see what the hell's going on with that here while Lee is teaching. So definitely, Lee, you got this, Lee. I think that is going to be a big thing that will be happening there. But then. What else is there? What else? Yep, just signed up for Sylph AI. Good job, Rongan. That's great. Can we use our own backend API from Next.js API routes, or does it have to be Supabase or Vercel? Nah, just Next.js needs to be the because we're trying to make a standard approach, right, of grading, right, and so Next.js kind of does need to be the API layer, but like. If you want to use other stuff in the middle, that's fine. Or you want to use other services on the other side, that's totally fine. Right? Yeah. Should the email be the same from Data Expert and Sylph? Yeah, I think so, right? Well, they will be from two different ones, right?
Yeah, we use the email you used to sign up on the class.
Yep. So that should be good. Yeah, I'm excited. This should be pretty great. I'm surprised. I'm very happy that this actually killed my website. That's exactly. I'm the one who needed to do the. Lee, you're totally right about this. I'm the one who needed to actually do the load test here, I guess, right? So.
We actually did pressure test before the
Yeah. AdaL is actually surviving here, right? That's funny. So I'm gonna try to reset the server right now, just so we can actually restart all dynos. Let's do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so hopefully that would be good. So let's see here. Can you please give an example for a sample project? Well, like we're gonna be building Substack, right? Substack is a blog website. It's like a newsletter platform. That's going to be the way to go about doing things. It's a newsletter platform, and so yeah, like that's going to be the example project that we're going to be working through. But you could think of like so many different things, right? Like you could build like, for example, like a dating website thing, right? Where it's like they upload their dating profile and then the AI gives them feedback on their dating profile, right? That's going to be another big thing. So I would say that's a big thing. So a lot of people right now, Lee, are saying they haven't received any credits. So like if you haven't received any credits, that means you probably signed up extremely late. You signed up in the last 5 seconds. And we can't just like give everyone freaking immediate credits. And you should
I think they should have $1. I think check go to the platform like ada.self.ai. And then if you look at go to your profile at the setting, and then you look at the usage section, then you would say there was like a $1 credit. So you can after you install the app, you can still use the queries. You can still send queries.
Yep. Perfect. Any preference of project you would like to see? A project that you would love to build. That's the project that we would like to see, right?
Actually, I was actually thinking because this.
Is there any other projects you would like to see, Lee?
I think we're building the Substack, right? I think it's more like, okay, who can build the best SaaS? Maybe someone can even make a startup out of it. So we're gonna, in this class, we are gonna do partial of the project. So we will we will do a little bit live demo about how we build some parts of this project. And then we open source the code base. After the class, you can download the code base and continue from there. You can clone this repo and then continue from there to complete the project. For example, today we are not going to build the whole landing page, but we are going to build a little about how to clone the hero page of the landing page.
Yeah.
So the students, you guys would actually have to complete like the features, the call to action, like how could you best sell your SaaS project that's gonna go to this you guys' hands.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's yeah, that makes sense. Like, and guys, I'm sorry that the data expert website is down right now. Like, I'm learning a lot. Like, I just haven't freaking had this much like load on the website, and like I probably need to upgrade some things, and like I definitely need to work with my developers on getting that going. And like after the live, when there's not such a huge spike, it should be fine, and it will kind of go through, right? All right. So let's see here. Zach, I couldn't navigate my way to signing up for SylphAI until tonight. Can I still get credits? Probably.
Yeah, we can.
I mean,
we can still, if you send the email to Zach, I will give the email, and then we will give all the people credits again.
Yep, for sure. So AdaL AI will help data engineers fixing pipeline issues or coding completeness. Yeah, 100%. You can already use it for that. You can already use it for that exact thing. Yep, for sure. Definitely. So
let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started, Lee. Lee, can you share your screen? Let's get into this, right?
Yeah. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, there you go, Lee. Awesome.
Okay. It might be a little bit tiny. I can try to make it like larger.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. You might want to. Yeah. Can you make your your CLI needs to be bigger, right? That you just right?
Yeah. I'm just like, first thing is like to install it, and then you just run ADA, and then you will get into the CLI. But then I will continue to. We have some slides, so we want to go through some of the basics, and then start like actually build the hero page of the vibe blog. Okay, we're vibe coding, and we're vibe coding, building a product called Vibe Blog.
Yeah.
Shall I take over?
Yeah, you got it, Lee.
Okay, sounds good. So thanks everyone for being here today. So today, this one, I want to mainly focus on like building a landing page. And it's actually very expensive nowadays if you hire a designer, right? You need at least like 6 figures above. But now with AI, they basically have vast knowledge for you to actually use, especially coding agent. And so in this project, we will have the basics. So the product we want to think about is called Vibe Blog, because we at SylphAI, we actually build our own blog and newsletter system and all our email system. We don't use MailChimp. We don't use Substack. All we need is like a resend for you to send email, and we build everything in-house and deploy it on Vercel.
Yeah, Lee, can you make the terminal agent bigger? Like, I can barely see it too, like for sure.
So the terminal agent right now, it's basically like, I could make it bigger. Is that better?
I mean, can you make it even bigger? Like
I think that's how big it can go.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We have slides. I'll make the slides bigger.
Yep. Okay, that's better. I think that's pretty good now, actually.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so for building a design, is actually not very easy. So designer is very expensive. We actually hired someone to build our landing page, but eventually we actually used AdaL to build our own landing page. So if the landing page you look at, it's basically built by me. I have low design background, and I hired one, but the quality didn't reach to the bar that we want. And we wouldn't want to afford like 6 figures to hire a really good one. So that's like, okay, let's do the agent. I think the agent might get us to at least like 90% or 95% of the best designer that you could get, which is pretty good for almost like $10 or $20 you have to pay. So for the design, this is what we learned. The first thing is, I know everybody use Cloud Code, right? Everybody think Solid, Opus is awesome. It is. But what we found is when it comes to design tasks, it is actually the Gemini 3.1 Pro that is really good. Before we used the Gemini 3 Pro, but now we are using Gemini 3. So in AdaL CLI, you can basically switch to any model. So in this session, you will see us using Minimax M2.5 high speed, just because it's almost 10 times cheaper even than Sonnet. It's basically the most cost-effective model that is still able to be very fast and be able to produce really good results. And then the second model we're going to use is the Gemini 3.1. This is where it actually does a lot of design. It's just really good with building landing page, or if you want to make your product look a lot better. And from this slash model, you're able to see like there's like a lot of other models, but we're not gonna go through it today because we don't have a lot of time. So in this, the other thing is I want to tell people the workflow about building a real SaaS product. So the first thing, you might already have the idea, okay, we want to build our own AI native Substack, which means I want to write in Markdown, because Markdown is basically what the AI use to write, right? Everything is automated by AI, and we don't want to use traditional SaaS that was built by like for humans, where you have to manually copy, paste, edit. It just takes a lot of time. So the first thing when you build a SaaS is you need to do product research and really understand why you're building this. And once you have this, like why you're building this, and you have to work with AI to actually vibe coding and start to use the coding agent. And the first thing you have to build is actually an amazing landing page. So this is the overall high proposal. So we already have the project we want to build. And the first thing you want to build a landing page is not to start from scratch. So you want to find a template. And the freemium marketplace actually has a lot of amazing template for us to use. And today we will try to see if we can actually build this template for the product we want to build. So this is our template. If you don't know what template you want to build, you can actually use AI too, because Ada already have like read image tool. You can point this. Basically, let me try it out. You could just say, can you use Chrome Dev tool to open this URL and say what it shows. So right now I'm on Gemini 3.1 Pro, and it is trying to use the tool. It is MCP. Later, we're gonna let people know how we are able to set it up. So now the agent already took a screenshot of it, and then it should be able to rate the image and tell you what it is. So now you can see it tells you the summary, but it doesn't take a screenshot yet. We could ask it to describe the looks. Can you actually take a screenshot and describe? So Gemini 3.1 is kind of a little bit slow. If you use Minimax Pro, it should be a lot faster. So it take a screenshot and it found where the screenshot is and it just read the image. And I think it's gonna describe what it says. So with the read image and the ability to actually use the browser, this agent is currently has all the tool and the ability to actually be a design engineer. So we just basically set it up. So I want to, before we actually dive in and start to build, I want to just go through a little bit about like the terminal IDE and how you're gonna navigate AdaL CLI very easily. I think obviously the first thing you see is actually the question mark where you can open like this like very quick. The most important thing I think is the ability to switch model. And then you have shortcuts. A lot of thing I want to introduce a little bit amazing things about CLI. CLI is it's not scary. It's actually very easy to use. For example, if I type something, right, you can actually put the cursor here. You don't have to use like just go use the arrow to go one by one. This is actually very interesting feature. And the second thing we can do, imagine I want to copy paste this content. And another thing is something maybe IDE you can do is you can just use ESC to delete all the content. And now I just copy paste the content, right? But once you send the content, the IDE actually the terminal has the feature. Go ahead.
Hey Lee, can you show them just really quick? Like this is awesome. I love this, but like there's a lot of comments right now about how to even get here. Can you show people just like the quick way of like getting into AdaL CLI,
Oh,
installing AdaL CLI, like just
yeah.
really like back to the basics, back to like square one here.
Okay. So let me open a new tab. Okay. The first thing is you guys want to install. I do have a slide to show you how to get started. Basically, you just copy paste, right? Find a place you want to. At first, you want to start. You can just install it anywhere. You could install it here since I already did it. I don't want to install it anymore. And in the future, the next thing is you open ADA, right? And then you would be able to actually enter this path.
And importantly, like you see that first command there is npm install, and a lot of you might not have npm installed, so you need to go and just Google that real quick, how to install npm.
Yeah, I think we have the tutorial. If you go to the docs, they would like show you. Okay, there might be some tutorial also for you to install npm, but it shouldn't be very difficult.
Yeah, it's like it's just one other command, right? And just to give, can you make the terminal a little bit bigger? Much better, much better. And so like
this is the best.
And just to give people some context, because I know like right now we're working with people from, some people have no coding experience, some people have a lot of coding experience. What is npm? npm is Node Package Manager. And Node Package Manager is an ability to install packages via Node.js, which is a JavaScript framework. And that is the most common way that these coding agents are shipped right now. So that's going to be the big way to go, right? And then and then then after that, then can you paste in that install command real quick?
Yeah, so I already did, so I'm not gonna install here.
Yeah, but like, can you just paste it in there to kind of show people what it would be? So then you run npm install -g sylph AI AdaL CLI. So what that does, just go over each line here. Npm calling the package manager to install a new package. Right. Yeah. And then -g means that it's globally available. That means that it's available. So you just have to run this one time, and then AdaL will be available forever, right? Do you run AdaL in project directory or root directory? Well, AdaL can be ran anywhere. So Now can you type AdaL? And now we can get back to our regular programming that you were talking about, Lee. Yeah, now you're good to go. I think everyone, all the confusion in the chat is now gone, and we are
Sounds
ready
good.
to go.
Thanks for tuning in.
I will disappear again.
So basically, you can install, right? And the first thing you want to do is to find the directory where you want to write your code. And in this case, I could just use simple comments, but this shouldn't be too hard. Let me try. So we are at GitHub, Sapphire Inc., and at the bootcamp demo. So this is where I want to work, right? So currently now you can start ADA. And now if you look at ADA, what you can say? You can say here is a bootcamp demo. This is your work directory. This is which directory you are. You can, let me just try to run some very simple thing. Okay, I want to switch to the cheaper and faster model. I could ask some very basic questions. Which is the work directory am I at? So the agent will show you where it is at. So it gives you the full path, right? And then you could use Control R. Another thing, this is the reasoning. Almost all the models nowadays are reasoning model. And in coding agent, it's normally default on. And you can use Control R to collapse it. So now you say, okay, to answer this question, the agent actually did this reasoning to get you this response, right? So this is our basic setup. Now, once you are in a work directory, a lot of people want to plug in GitHub. You could also ask an agent to help you. Nowadays, I don't even run anything. All the Git version control. Git is basically our version control, right? So you go GitHub, create an account, and you want to version control your code, basically. And I haven't created a GitHub repo yet, but let's create one. Can you create a GitHub repo? Make it private for now. And commit my current code. So now the agent is just running and looking at the code. And all the different agent performs different. So you don't know sometimes. But they will communicate to you what it's doing here.
Yeah, Lee, someone's asking, can you use other models that are not in the list?
Not in the list, but our list has a lot. Well, I'll show you later why the list has a lot. So now it's starting to look at, you see, it's running comments to actually, I will answer that question a little bit later after this query completed. So right now it's creating, but it wanted to go to the landing page, which is not what I want. So I want to say just this whole work directory, make it a GitHub repo, not just the landing page. So now it started to get me and started to create like make my current path, like current work directory, a GitHub repo. So you want to say yes. And if you want to look at more detail, you can click to expand, right? So it feels pretty much like a web UI. After this is done, I promise I will show you, we can actually go back to here. So what model we can use? This is just recommended for like probably the most frequent use. But in here, you have like, in the future, we will come with local models such as Llama And these are different providers. We have Anthropic, we have 7 models here, and we have OpenAI and Google and Minimax, right? Basically, you push your enter, you just like enter this, and then you would see all the models here. And if you want to see more details of this different model, we have documentation. So basically, you can push like press I, and then it opens the documentation for you. Press I for information, so you can like have better view about the different models. And the price we put is like a reference, so it tells you like if you have to pay by API, right, from the provider's official channel, how much it's gonna be. Now I can use ESC and to exit. And I can go back to my previous channel, which is another thing. You can start as many sessions as AdaL as possible. So let's just complete like this GitHub repo. A lot of GitHub repo has git igloo, so the agent is doing its work and it's committing the code. I think I might have to create something. So right now it was resolving conflict, but normally I just push enter. So it's already committed, had the initial commitment, and it's trying to fix the errors. While the agent is working, we could go through a little bit about like a little bit. So this is the basics. You set up the work directory and you picked the model, and you can start to send out queries, right? There are like the shortcuts. We have the essential comments here. So in the terminal agent, you often use slash comments. So if you just type the slash, all the slash comments will come out, and you could say how many like comments we have. For example, you could use about, you could say which version we are, which model, and some system information. We also have authentication, and compact is another thing. You might use it, but we have auto compact. It's basically if your session gets way long, that is beyond the model's context window, then it will trigger auto compaction. But if you want to compact anytime you want, you can also do that. Let me see, it's still resolving. I think it's almost getting there. So the repo has been basically created here. Creating the repo is done. We can go back to more like learn about the CLI, and we can start to actually doing the tasks. So a lot of things nowadays, if you want to use agent, one thing is the model's internal knowledge, right? When you chat about it, it tells you what it tells you every question you ask. That's basically mostly using the internal knowledge. And when you can, a lot of things you can use. For example, right now we already have a code base, right? So the agent itself is able to go through the whole code base, like navigating. This is what we call agentic search. They are able to navigate the code base and provide you like a summary. We could say summarize the code base for me. So this is the agent, shows the agent's ability to use basic tools that came with the default setup of the coding agent. In this example, it used bash tool, right? Bash tool is where you run comments in the terminal. And it is actually one of the most, that's what makes the coding agent like in the terminal so powerful, because it's so native to developers environment and it runs much faster. That's why so many people like Cloud Code and the CLI agent is becoming potentially more popular. It's probably already more popular than the IDE based agent. And then the agent itself is gonna use like the actions like rate, or sometimes they can do search. And once it understands the code base, they can create use summary, right? That's how the agent would work. So whenever you ask some question, it will find the most relevant context from the code base. And then from there, once you have that context, then it started to do a task. For example, this one gives you a summary, but you could say, right now, I just think maybe what I was designed is a little bit advanced. I could go a little bit more basic. For example, I could introduce you, for example, how it's gonna write a file, right? Where the file is gonna be put. Later, we can open like an IDE and say all the files. I could ask a lot of questions like, can you write this summary in a MD file, which is a markdown file, and save. I'll just do this. So right now, after we create a GitHub repo, you see the folder has changed. This is what here it shows me. So it basically shows which branch, GitHub branch you are, where you can control. You can control like different branch. People has to create PR, right? So you have to create a different branch to submit your code change when you work with a team. So look at this. I think we had a README. It decided to write in a README of this landing page. So this one, the terminal agent can show the diff view. So it tells you like these lines are get like deleted, and these lines are like newly added lines. And you see those different new lines, and so it's pretty obvious. I just say accept. And there's a lot of mode almost all the coding agent has. That would be shift tab, where you can always accept, like go almost user mode. That's what you call auto edit mode. We could try set it up. Once you set up like the auto accept mode, so in the bottom, you would say auto approve edits on. You know, right now you don't have to approve anymore. I could ask it to change again. Can you, let me see, what else? Can you add that the AdaL bootcamp is also at the end of the file? So this time I don't have to accept anymore. It just already changed the file. And then I'll open the IDE. Let me look at the IDE. So here is the repo of the bootcamp. I don't think it's this one. Let me open. I think this is another one. Let me open. I basically have to open a VS Code. So sometimes you still want to use, I can open like a new window, and here is the code for the bootcamp demo. So here is the code base. So in the IDE, you will see what are the initial commits, and you will look at the files we have changed. And this is the README we have changed, and we ask it to add like the AdaL bootcamp is awesome. And then it just like add it in the end. Now we can go back. So now you know where to look at all the code. We can start to try to build a beautiful landing page from here on. Or unless you guys have like anything else you think you want to learn. Oh, actually, I want to introduce two more concepts before we get to the building part. Let me go back to. So another concept is about MCP, right? So MCP, probably a lot of you already heard about it, even if you haven't vibe coded. MCP is where you can add a lot of servers that can almost call any kind of tools. You can think about it as the ecosystem of extended tools for all the different coding agents. So this is number one. This is like one concept. We could try, go to the, let me try to show you how you are able to install like one MCP server in AdaL CLI. And I think this is process is almost the same. I like as other coding agent too.
Can you make the font on that left screen a little bit bigger?
This one.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah. So basically, to install MCP, you can get to MCP page, right? You can still press I for info, so you would get to our documentation. And we manage a bunch of server, like the most commonly used server. It's super simple to set up. For example, if you want to add like a linear, which is like bug tracking or issue tickets, developer use, or Lotion or Sentry, you could use MCP add linear. But today we want to use something more advanced, where you basically follow almost the standard like syntax about how to add a MCP server. MCP server comes with a bunch of like comments where you can use, but when it's built in coding in the terminal agent, you have to use /MCP. So here is a comment we are going to use. We are going to use a MCP server called Chrome Dev Tool. So Chrome Dev Tool, it is able to, we already showed a little at the beginning. It is able to open a browser, navigate to a URL, and do a lot of web, like developers workflow, like look at the DOM, tree DOM, or sometimes take a screenshot, or help you debug, and you can even look at the console, right? So everything like a front-end engineer do, I think the broader automation might be able to do it in some way, but it might be very token heavy. So sometimes because the HTML page is very large, so we do have a tutorial for the agent to follow so that it don't get very crazy. But right now we already have it installed, but we can still add this server. For example, I just like run this comment, and it is telling me adding customer server, and the server added. I could ask a question: do you have access to Chrome Dev Tool? Prove to me to open the browser and go to Google. So there's already an existing Chrome Dev Tool session, but I wanted to kill it first. Can you kill it first? I think this MCP tool sometimes, I think especially browser automation, it could be a little bit confusing, but you can totally ask it to kill the last one so that we can start fresh. So it is running the batch and killing the tool. Okay. I think now sometimes it will do things wrong, but it's okay. I think for this session, I probably have to restart. It is telling me to restart this session. Let me do that. So do you have Chrome Dev tool? Can you open Google with the tool? What's going on? Why it takes so long? Okay, sometimes the model might thought a little bit longer. So can you with the tool? Let's continue. Okay, this time it works. I think MCP tool can be a little bit tricky, but that's the MCP tool, and then we will prepare it here for now. And the second thing we want to introduce is scales. Scales is actually much simpler. MCP server is very heavy for your computer. It takes a lot of resource, and the MCP is more complicated to build. But scale is more like domain knowledge. I have a scale page. So scales is where if you are a design engineer, if you are a front engineer, you might have some front end scale. And today I didn't prepare one, but scale is basically a markdown file where your agent can load an index, like an introduction about a particular scale, how to use this tool. They might come with both introduction about what this scale is. For example, what is the best way to clone a website? That could be a potential scale. And do you have some code that you can use? So you put everything together. Question?
Yeah, so I guess like I just want to go over a little bit more about like kind of like some ideas for skills. Like, so one of the what like I want my agent to like test my Node.js server and my Next servers, right? But like I have this thing called InPhysical, which injects all of the environment into the agent, and it can't find InPhysical, right? It doesn't know what to do, right? And so it so this is where adding a skill, when I added a skill, it made it so that I was like, wow, now my agent debugs perfectly. Now it debugs so perfectly,
Scale
right? It
is
knows
actually
exactly
very
what to do,
useful.
right? Yeah. So it's a really, really important thing here, like when you're adding skills, because like, but like the intuition here, right, is like sometimes like this is where you need to observe what your coding agent is doing, actually like watching the tools, watching what it's actually doing, and then being like, that's dumb. Why is it doing that? Like, because like these agents are getting better and better, but they still make stupid decisions sometimes, right? And that's where like using like, you know, AdaL.md and skills and these kind of like contextual things makes it so that your coding agent is a lot less stupid, right? It actually does what it's supposed to do. So
yeah, exactly. I think that's a really good point. For our team, we actually use a lot on this scale, because
yeah,
even
can you give some examples? I think like people like skill is gonna be
yeah, look at this is my setup of scale, but we have some project scale, so you wouldn't be able to say our project scale, right? So scale is basically you tell the agent, hey, this is how to use a potential scale. For example, if you are building the Substack, you might want to track how many views in each blog, right? A very good thing to do is to plug in analytics. But to do it all by yourself manually is a lot of work. And then you can plug in any scale. For example, this one I installed is called Post-Hack Analytics, right? So it is able, the agent already know post-hack analytics. I could ask it, tell me a bit about post-hack analytics scale.
Yeah, and so someone on LinkedIn makes a very important point here around why skills are also important,
Yeah,
is that it makes it so that the agent doesn't have to burn tokens figuring out what to do, right?
exactly.
And it just follows the path of like what it needs to do based on the skill that you give it. So that's like another very important part of like why adding skills to your repo and adding skills to the context is so important.
Yeah, it's basically a dynamic agents MD or cloud MD, right? Normally, you might want to put all these things in the agents MD where the agent actually have to load everything into its context. But context has a limit, so you can't load 100 scales all in the same agents MD. But so scale made it possible because you're basically loading an index, which is the very quick introduction about this scale. You could go our scales page. For example, if I enter post hack, here's a description, right? Basically, the agent right now is just like look at like a dictionary. I need to. This is the scale, and this is when I need to like invoke this scale on demand instead of like loading everything in the context. So it helps you if you're a team, if you have to build landing page, you might have a front end engineer scale. If you are doing database, you might have a scale to tell them how to do the database. If you want to train a model, then there's like a Hugging Face model trainer scale, right? So there's so many different scales that you can potentially use. There's a whole ecosystem out there. But for the team, it's super important to even create your own school, your own scales. Doesn't make sense. So now we have seen the scale, but today for building the website, we have something, let me show. So there's a lot of things in the coding agent you can use is to add the file. For example, I have a file to tell it how do I clone a website, right? So I can add it, and once I add it, I'm like, the agent already see the whole document. So I could say, here is, this one is not scale, but after the class, I'm actually gonna create a scale out of this instruction. And I will let people know what is the potential way that you can actually install. So basically, the way I do is I will create it as the same format as scale, and then I will host it on the GitHub as a scale, like in our in one of our GitHub repo. It comes with other scales too. And then there's comments in the GitHub repo. There's comments where you can tells you exactly the comments that you need to install this scale. So after you install the scale, you would have this scale to work on your landing page too. So from today's exercise, you would able to know how to use everything, all the comments, editing, how the agent is doing, plus the advanced features like the MCP, right? So where you're going to configure the Chrome Dev Tool MCP, and you are going to configure the scales that is used to teach the agent how to clone a website. So we could start to try to clone the website, but here is where I need to switch. I want to compact this whole session. So if you don't want to wait for the auto compact, you could run manual compact. I want to compact it and move on to the next task. I could show you a little what it does for the compaction. So it runs very quickly. This session is very short, so it takes only 3.8 seconds, right? So it compares the 2,000 tokens to 397 tokens. Now we are starting very fresh. Let's switch to the model that is actually good with design. So I'm using slash model, switching to Gemini 3.112, right? I'll use this ad to tell them how to clone. So this tells you how to clone a website. right now, I want to clone the hero page of this reference site. So you can give it just like the URL. So this is the website. This is the page we want to clone. The hero page is the most difficult and the most important section of your whole landing page, because you want to capture people's attention in less than 3 seconds. So you put almost 50% or even 80% of your time actually on just this one page. So I would give just the link to it, right? Let me say you can clone. I want to give it a little bit more instruction. I don't care about other sections. Focus only on the hero. Can you, because we already have a landing page directory, so can you put all the, and today we're using Next.js code in landing page 2 directory. So here it shows, it rates this, the agent already gets the context about this file. So we can turn off the thinking because it can be quite long. Right now it's navigating the page. It wants to see the page. It sees the page here because it controls this. This is the browser. Actually, the agent is controlling. It says Chrome is being controlled by automated test software.
Is that MCP like Playwright? What MCP is that?
This is Chrome Dev Tool.
Chrome
so
Dev.
it's a little bit more token efficient. So you wouldn't see output like tens of thousands of lines, and your context window is gonna get full very quickly.
Yeah.
And right now it's trying to take a screenshot, right? Let it do it. Take a screenshot. So the screenshot is saved somewhere. And then it's trying to rate this PNG, rate this file. So it rates both. I guess this is something new. I didn't know the agent saves the text file too.
So does this recreate the like raw HTML into like a React component, or like?
No, it will create a Next.js project.
Yeah.
I think. Right now, I think it's starting to know what this website is and to look at it visually.
Yeah. For people who are maybe following along, like I just want to put up this command real quick. This is the command that you need to actually add Chrome DevTools.
Yeah, exactly.
To AdaL, so that you can do this. You can just steal someone else's website, right?
Yeah, I think it's easy to actually start from a template, because design something, imagine from your brain it's not even easy for designer.
Yeah.
So I could say, can you create the directory, when the agent is working, you can still give the information and instruction. Can you create the directory and start the Next.js project there? Oh, I guess it's already doing that. Oh, actually, it already created the page. I guess I just missed a step myself. It's fine. Then you use ESC to delete what you wanted. So it's starting to, I could show you people the code base. So it creates you this directory, right? It actually already started all the boilerplates like Next.js. It sets up the whole Next.js. There's a README file. It's already created. It's almost one shot.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add here is for people who like maybe don't have that much experience with JavaScript, like don't worry that much. Like you can like let the coding agent kind of handle everything, right? That's like kind of that's the part that like I'm still like, I feel sometimes my knowledge of JavaScript sometimes gets in the way, or I'm like, oh no, I know better, and it's like, no, the coding agent often knows better than me. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, I think there's a way to work with the coding agent. You want to try, because the coding agent is trained on vast knowledge. right? You don't try to tell them exactly what to do, but instead you ask a lot of questions. You could say, okay, what about this? What about that? Then come with a really solid plan, and then you start to actually code.
I love it.
So right now it's just setting up the basics. So it's writing the code right now. So you can say it's starting to do writing code here. Before we have some boiler code. That's why it's replacing the previous code. Let me see. Can you run this? Can you use run this server and then use? Okay, just a lot of code on the tool to open the page we just created. So it is telling me I can do this, right? It's very surprising Gemini 3.1 Pro is actually very fast right now, given it's a really big model. So right now it's starting the server, but since port 3000 is already used, I think the agent is using 3001. And right now it's starting this page. So this is our result after just one shot, and this is our reference. And then from here, the agent is going to take screenshot, compare these two different pages. You see it's already taking screenshot. So it's taking the screenshots, and then we'll compare how far it is from the goal to clone. The first thing is to actually clone the whole thing. And once you have a code base that you have really good style, that's where you started to replace the content to the content that you want to use. Can you trick any? If you want to trick any specific pixel color, just let me know. Like I want you to do it. Can you compare the reference landing page, hero page, and your current page, and think where else we can improve? Sometimes the agent depends, it can be a little bit lazy, so you want them to continue to work. I guess it already read the image. It already did like one round. It's basically started the server, took a screenshot, and it says it looks like pretty good. And it's just asking us for the potential next steps. But we want to do even better. This is not good enough. What about the background, right? You see this very fancy animation. It will take a little bit of time to actually recreate that. It takes some effort from the agent, and it might also take some effort from you to actually point the agent to the right direction. And it also doesn't have the background like in the backend, like the stuff, like those many stars there. So it actually compared these two parts, right? It already started to make like apply improvement. So the agent actually, they have very good visual understanding, especially Gemini 3.1 like Pro. So their design is the best. And then they understand as they design, like which part you want to improve. They can describe like the different elements. It's kind of amazing. But later we will see if you want to fix exact detail, we would use the Chrome automation. So we could just say, just let it do the work. It could potentially refresh it. I could say give it a little bit more prompt. I want the fancy background. Seems like many. I'm not a designer, so I can't describe exactly what it is. Seems I want the fancy background. Seems like many floating stars. Can you figure out how to create that? Maybe use your Chrome dev tools to inspect. So here come to the code base. You already see the agent is taking a lot of screenshots. These are the screenshots it takes with the Chrome tool, and it also compare and rate the image. So there's more changes coming. You accept. It actually figured out the background layer through the random star field. Yeah. Well, it didn't show up. I think there's a little bit. It's just like very difficult to see. But the agent is doing the more work. So getting this to be like 80% is the what agent already be able to do in one shot. But then adding those effects is where we have to work on it. Zach, you have something to say?
Yeah. On the other screen where you have the local host, can you just make this a little bit bigger? I think because I think people don't understand, like, this is a completely like copied website, right? This is like,
it's exact copy, because the first thing is to copy this style, and then the second is to replace the content to your own, and then tweak about it. You want to start from something like professional.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
And this is our reference, right? This is like the example we gave the agent. The agent only needs a URL basically right now.
Yep. I love that so much.
But yeah, basically we're just gonna say the agent working on this. Let's say if it is able to figure it out. I think it's improving. So now it figured out it's dynamic. It figured out it's dynamic because image is static, right? It has to figure out the elements by using the browser tool to figure out exactly, like, more close. That's why we need to combine the visual. The visual gives you to 70, 80% on the layout, and the browser figure out more of the details. Let's see. You see it now, it looks a lot better. The star in the background actually moves. There's one more thing you might want it to try. It's missing the inflating loop. It already figured out actually, Chris. I think there is a, what is this? Orbit, purple orbit, purple orbit in the hero section. Can you figure out how to recreate that?
If it figures out an animation, bro, like, because you can't get that from a screenshot, right? I guess, but it can look at the HTML, because that's probably a CSS. That's probably a CSS.
Yeah,
thing,
and
right?
what this tool is really good at, it's not looking at the whole HTML page, because the whole HTML page is way too long, right? But look at our context window. We are not that bad. We only have like 64,000. That's like only 6.5 of the Gemini 3.1's 1 million context window. So this is actually one of the most efficient workflow.
And like, you can just steal someone's SaaS, right?
you can basically go any website and to say point them to clone this. Yeah, basically, I already built like 4 landing page before this class. Okay, we got this way close. Like, it is able to create this animate. It will require a little bit more time for the agent to iterate.
Yeah.
So the agent is doing the work to really inspect on the element level. Right now, it's actually identify, okay, this is the effect you're talking about, what it is, what is the best strategy to actually recreate, right? It's amazing because think about this effect. Designer has to do so much work to get it, and the engineer has to build it. But this agent is mostly doing it all by itself and in one single session. Yeah, it found one SVG and it's trying to reasoning if it's actually the OB run. So even for agent, it's hard. I think the HTML page with so many different things.
So Lee, I have someone has a very interesting question. If you can slow down here just for a second. I love this question. Someone's asking, wait, what? I can go behind paywalls and clone SaaS? And
exactly.
Yes.
And it's only looks.
Well, like,
and like, well, way close, like 90-95%.
As long as, well, and like you can use a skill, right? And you can give it the username and password to log in, right? And it will, and so you can get behind a login page, and you can get behind, and as long as you're the paid user, then yeah, like you can copy the whole looks. There might be some back end stuff that you can't see.
Yeah.
Right, but like at least the front end look and feel, like that's the part that's interesting. What about back end? Well, the thing that's interesting about back end,
look at this effort. That right now it didn't create exactly, but sometimes you will figure out if you work with it. But sometimes it creates something new. Actually, you might want it better because
it
you
creates
don't want
it
to
better,
copy a
right?
lot. But look at this; it's actually quite amazing. Look at this animation in the background.
Yeah, and Lee, like, how much knowledge of CSS do you have?
I don't have design knowledge. Basically, I build my landing page, but mostly it's worth more if I pay a designer 10K. I think building with agent actually gives you better landing page. We tried that already and didn't work higher on designer.
Yep. That's that's amazing. That's amazing. Like, and like I want to slow down here just for a second because I want to give a preview of what's coming tomorrow, because someone is asking about what about backend, right? So backend is not something that you can just clone based on looks, right? And that is definitely the part that is still a little bit, you need to know prompt heavy stuff. But the thing is like one of the things about backend stuff is like, you know what's going on behind the scenes. It's probably a database call and probably maybe another call to another SaaS like Stripe or freaking Salesforce or HubSpot or like some other, SendGrid, some other SaaS tool, right? And this is where like Mark Benioff was talking about how like AI is actually meant to work with other SaaS and sit on top of other SaaS and kind of be the glue code between SaaS. So like you can do this with Chrome DevTools and you can just rip out a website very easily. And then the effort, there's a little bit of effort here of like, you have to step through each screen and be like, okay, what API calls are necessary here? What API calls are necessary here, right? How do I add login? How do I add authentication? What SaaS product should I use for authentication? Like, and then you might have to go through and set up some accounts, because that's like what brings it to life, as opposed to just being like static HTML, right? It brings it to life. And that is what I will be covering in tomorrow's class at 11 a.m. So definitely stick around for that. That's going to be awesome. Someone's just asking, are we recording this? It'd be great to have it so we can follow along later. Yes, all of this is on YouTube. All of this is recorded. All of this will also be on the Data Expert website. Okay, go ahead, Lee. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm pretty much done for today's session. So what I'm going to do after this class, I want to commit all the code, and I will open up the GitHub repo so that I will create a scale and put instruction on how to install and configure that scale. And I will share about the tutorial. By the way, the agent also made this tutorial. It basically, I point them to our documentation and just create this tutorial as HTML page. So I also put it in the GitHub repo, and you can just open it up with any browser, right? If you don't know how to do it, you can ask the agent to do it. You can just say, agent, hey, here's the GitHub repo. Can you help me set it up and open this tutorial? They will do it.
Yep. And like, I think, yeah, so Lee, one of the other things that we have here that I think people have asked for, is there a way that we can get your prompt history here? Can you, everything that you have kind of like typed through, can you like, I don't know, can you like either screenshot or take
I could,
just like kind of the raw output of AdaL here and just do that, right?
Not the raw output, but the tutorial here I gives you, there's actually, for today's class, right? Let me find it. There's a for class section, it tells you exactly. So here is the class, right? So this is everything you need for this class. And I also give you the basic information. This one tells a lot, and this is actually some copy you can use for for the product we're building. This is AI wrote it too. It's pretty good. Live blog. So here are basically the starting query, but I will give people more detailed query. For every single session, we actually save the history. So if you use the resume, right? So what I'm gonna do is to find this exactly history and extract my queries, ask the agent, and then I'll upload it to the GitHub repo.
Amazing. This is really awesome. So one of the things that I want to do here real quick though, Lee, I think we should have like about a 10-minute open session here just at the end here to add just what questions do people have? Lee just covered like, I don't know, like 40% of being an AI engineer in an hour. And so like we want to definitely give people the floor here. Can I like can you like kill your screen share, Lee? And then we can that'd be awesome, because then now we're big faces again. So we just want to open the floor for about 10 minutes here for any major questions that people can see, right? Angel has a good question. Like, is there a way where I can see the use of the tokens? Like,
for sure. So basically, you go like stats, right? In a session, you go like stats. It shows you exactly what is the model's context window and where you are.
Yeah. So someone's asking, would you mind diving deeper into why this over Claude or Codex? So we talked about that at the very beginning of this live. So if you go back to the first 5-10 minutes, then that will be where you will find it.
It's basically UI is actually more modern than Claude Code, because you can say I can basically use almost like a web, right? You can click to expand. Claude Code don't have those features. Plus, the other thing is it only has Claude models. You don't have Gemini 3.1 Pro, and you don't want to use Claude for landing page tasks. And Claude is very expensive. Right now, you basically have an alternative that is more than 10 times cheaper. That's actually 20 times cheaper with like other providers. So you can almost get the $100 or $200 Claude value with just like $20 subscription. If you actually don't turn your eyes away from other models, because think about all these different companies spend billions of dollars to train the other model, for example, Gemini 3.1, and you just like trying to say, okay, I don't use it. I just don't care if what it's good at, and I only stick to Claude Code, which is fine, you know?
So someone's asking, is the project submission restricted to Next.js? Yes. Sorry. That's just like, it is what it is. Like we need some standardization, and Next.js is by far the most popular way to build a SaaS project. Like I know that you can use Django and other things, but what were you saying, Lee?
Yeah, I tried to use Vite and React, right? React, and then it actually is so slow. with Tailwind CSS. I think Next.js is where you can almost one shot set up the whole project, and it's so smooth too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's so good, so good. So someone was asking about switching models. So like, what does AdaL do if like you do a working session and then you switch between Gemini to Claude? Like, what happens?
It just works continuously. It just has all the context. It's exactly the same session, but it just straight to a different model. It says exactly the same thing, the images, the text. But if you did the compaction, right? If compaction happened, they just say where from your last compaction to the current history.
Yeah. So
So
Rangan
you
asks,
can be very smooth to transition to different model.
that's so great. That's such a crazy feature. So Rangan is asking a very interesting question. Is AdaL as accurate as Claude for Python and SQL coding? That's a very, it uses Claude, right? I mean, like.
Yeah, I think it uses cloud model, but you have seen this session, right? It doesn't have problem. It's basically parallel tool core. It's fast, just as cloud. And the second thing, it's pretty much the same. Our team, think about what we are building. We're building coding agent, and we are just fully on ADA already. So we have been on ADA, like our own coding agent, for like 3 months. We started using Cloud Code for sure. Thanks for Cloud Code to bootstrap us.
Yeah, that's awesome. So someone's asking, where is the tutorial available? So this is a live YouTube stream. It'll be available here, but also like, let me just one more time drop the link here. So you need to go to learn.dataexpert.io, and then that is where you will be able to get access to everything else, right? And my free data engineering bootcamp is there. My beginner data engineering bootcamp is there, as well as this AI thing is going to be great. Okay, I think we have time for one more question here from Tej. Tej has a great question. He's saying, is there a way to make all of this code trustworthy? How do you make sure there are no security vulnerabilities?
I think it's mostly in your hands. So it has to be, you have to build by design, right? So you don't find them by accident. Basically, you want to do is to really have the security mindset. For example, we need to have that too. We were actually attacked by a lot of bots, hundreds of bots signing up. So we basically have to look at our security and gradually build it up. And the code is trustworthy. If you have to see back free, I have to see it really depends on you because you're the project manager. You are controlling a very important factor is about the architecture. If you got the architecture, the direction correct, the agent will do the implementation so fast. But you want to spend the majority of your time actually on architect, on planning, and in ADA, this is how it looks. You tell them, okay, I'm doing this project, and here's what I think. What do you think? Do you have a plan? Let's have the initial plan. How many approaches you propose? And then you ask more and more questions, and you lock down on one really good direction. And only then you start to implement. So you want to do this all the time. Always start with a proposal. Like you already know exactly what the coding agent is gonna implement because you don't want to look at all the garbage code, the agent. If you didn't give them enough context, if it's not on the right direction, they're gonna give you like tons, thousands of lines of code. And how do you be able to review it, right? You want to make sure you are only validating the results, number one, and then actually look at the code to make sure it's clean and production grade. So you don't want them to write tons of code and review first. You want to know exactly what you do, write code and validate, and iterate to the code quality.
Yep, I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much for coming today. So like, let's talk about like what the deliverable is today. So today you want to be ideating what kind of SaaS project you want to build. And then by tonight, by, this evening, you should use Chrome DevTools, use AdaL to clone your, the project that you want to clone. And then that will allow you to have that kind of vision. And then the other thing you want to be ideating is like, what is the MVP for tomorrow? Like, what is the functionality that you want to add for tomorrow so that we can be able to keep going? And like, then you'll have 2 more days, Monday and Tuesday. You'll have those 2 days to really put some fine tuning on all of this and add all the rest of the features, because Lee's really fast at this because she is an AI wizard and she knows exactly what she's doing. So understand that this is going to take a lot of you guys a little bit more time and a little bit more understanding of what the AI is doing. But remember, one of the beautiful things about AI is you can always ask it, what the hell are you doing right now?
Exactly.
You can literally ask it and it will tell you what it's doing, right? And so I think that is something that is absolutely unique about AI engineering and learning AI engineering, is you can literally just ask AI and then boom, done, right? So awesome. Well, we will get you guys this session. We will get you the GitHub. We will get you Lee's prompt history. We will get you the credits. We'll get you the slides. We will get you everything ready to roll in the next hour or two here. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to build some projects. I know we're going to see I hope some of you guys build SaaS projects that make money from this. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. I hope to see you guys on Tech Twitter and on LinkedIn posting about your SaaS projects. If you tag me and Lee, make sure to do that. That will help you guys get more visibility on your projects as well. And so, yeah, and make sure to share this with your friends. Make sure to share AdaL with your friends. It's one of the best AI tools out there. And yeah, I'll catch you guys here tomorrow, 11 a.m. Let's build the back end tomorrow. It's going to be sick.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one, y'all.
Have a good day.